For sure, most of you are already thinking, you also became old one day, you ungrateful shit. Or the old people in your family, how could you be so heartless? I'm sick of dealing with old people. They are annoying in so many ways, it is very hard to summarize. My biggest frustration with them is that they don't have to be that annoying, but they have deliberately chosen to be. You will see that for most of the points that piss me off, there are solutions, but they have decided not to take good actions. Laziness and problem avoiding have been the core values in their lives. You don't believe me? Let's explore this topic together. It is full of all kinds of health problems related to old age, but most of them could have been delayed with simple solution that everybody should use during their lives. It takes effort and time management. It could also cost additional money, but it is worth it. Some of the most common issues are cardiovascular health issues, arthritis, teeth problem, diabetes, and cancer. But how often have you seen your parents or grandparents in the gym, or at least trying to stay fit at home? Almost nobody in Bulgaria is actively taking care of their health. The new generations are trying to change the trend, but the old people, whom I'm referring to, have very old ideas in their heads and can't understand the concept of healthy life and prevention. And it's strange because during the communist era, they started their work days with compulsory exercises and spent most of their day actively in a factory. What happened after that? Was it the democracy's fault? Is it all fault of the pension? We will get to that topic later. So, exercise is not a part of their lives, but what about a healthy diet? People in Bulgaria love to eat. We are part of the Southeast Europe, just next to Turkey, so there are plenty of great ingredients, spices, variety of vegetables, everything. Bulgarian cuisine is diverse, but it leans toward the heavy dishes. Pork meat, oil, alcohol are the main ingredients of the Bulgarian diet. Many old people continue to drink heavily, even with cirrhosis. Rakia, the national drink, is a strong spirit with around 38% alcohol in it, and it causes plenty of health issues. Sometimes people drink homemade rakia with around 50% alcohol content and even more. All alcohol damages the cardiovascular system and disrupt our sleep. Okay, so diet and exercise are no go for old Bulgarians. But what about prevention medical checks? Do old people go to see medical specialists for prevention exams and health improvements? Of course not. We have a saying here, I don't go to a doctor because he always finds something. Old people prefer to evade doctors because they are terrified of their health status and they are not willing to change a thing in their lives. The fear comes from the fact that they know they are not good, but most of the times, even the worst illness are not enough to make them change and improve. It is sad, isn't it? With a bit of willpower and some control, thousands of people can live longer and better lives. So, what can we do to evade these problems and not become some of these annoying old people in the future? Sleeping is far more than just wasted time. I was making this mistake for a long time. For me, getting up at 5 a.m. was not a problem, especially if it translated to additional money through some freelance jobs. But over the time, I started to take some interest in my health. I'm still young, but I would like to age with grace. The first part of the equation is sleep. It is the time when your body cleanses itself of toxins, reorganizes new information, and rebuilds itself. Without proper sleep, you can start your path to Alzheimer and dementia. Your brain needs to clean the accumulations in your head, and it does it when your body is asleep. The second thing that it does is to help you remember new knowledge. It is one of the key components when you study. If you don't sleep enough, you won't be able to build proper knowledge in any topic. The third is body rebuild. It doesn't matter how hard you are lifting at the gym if you don't let your body rest. At night, your body will start to synthesize proteins to rebuild muscles and bones. Without proper sleep, you will be exposed to the potential risk of osteoporosis, low bone density. People don't understand diet. Many think that it's all about eating less if you want to have skinny body or eating chicken breasts when you are building muscles? It is a very complex topic. First, there are many things that you should eliminate from your diet, or at least reduce them to a minimum. These are ultra-processed foods, alcohol, and sweets. I can go deeper, but these categories damage you the most. Stop consuming them. After that, you should watch also your total calorie intake. The general recommendation is around 2000 calories for women and around 2500 for men. If you're eating more, try to reduce your consumption to recommended values. If you don't, the excess energy is transformed into fat, and that is not healthy. The third part is to eat the right food. There are many popular diets like vegan, keto, Mediterranean, more. Which one is the best is very debatable. What most experts will tell you is to eat a wide variety of foods: leafy greens, grains, vegetables, fruits, nuts, fish, meat. The bigger the variety, the better for your body. Like this, it can get enough minerals and vitamins to keep you healthy. Most old people don't exercise at all. But why? They have all the time in their lives to do it. What is stopping them? Honestly, I can't answer these questions. It seems like most of them never understood what exercise is and what is good for. One thing you should know: exercise is not the best way to lose body weight. The best way is diet. Exercise is healthy, but in another way. It keeps your body in top shape. It helps you use energy and synthesize proteins to keep it strong. It also helps you cleanse toxins. Currently, it is quite easy to find a gym near your home and start training. Both old and young people should do it, or at least find a gym routine on the internet and try to follow it from home. Back to my rant. Old people spread the worst part of the local culture. They are those who spread and keep the superstitions alive. Why do you need this? I can't find any reason at all. They are the first to teach you what you should do on some random day of the calendar. They push you to celebrate countless days of the dead and do strange things, or they eat sweets knowing they are badly diabetic just because this is our culture. They follow blindly what they have always done, and they don't see a problem with this. There is nothing bad if you understand the ritual and you like it, but simply repeating it seems inappropriate to me. I have multiple problems with the pensions to rant about. Maybe I will even do a special rant about it. It seems like the dream of every Bulgarian is to get old and live on a pension. People, think about it. Pensions are very small, and the way the world is going, they will shrink or even disappear completely. Yet, countless soon to be pensioners are thinking about their future pensions and think that somehow it will miraculously be enough for all their needs and wants. It won't. When you get a pension, you will need to dramatically reduce your standard of living and still find a way to save money in case of medical emergency. So, if it's so small, you will think that old people keep it safe and organize their budget very wisely so they don't waste it, right? No. They take the money and immediately go to the closest small shop to spend half of it. They will buy whatever they feel at the moment, and many of them will even bet on sports or buy a lottery ticket. Later, they will complain how small the pensions are and how they are not enough. Highly inappropriate behavior. It is common for old people to forget the envelope with money in a cafe or drop it on the street. They get very irresponsible. The lack of saving is worth ranting strongly. It could be the core of all. If you have enough savings or multiple incomes, you won't have problems affording many of the things we mentioned here. You will have money to see more expensive doctors, get better medicine, eat better, have a budget for gym, and have many quality of life improvements. So, why don't old people save? This is a bit tricky. It is not always true that old folks don't have enough savings. Many times they do, but they give them all away to their children and they became poor again. It is extremely common that old people in Bulgaria buy an apartment for their children instead of renting it for extra income. I think this is a huge mistake. One day, this apartment will eventually be inherited. There is no need to give it before. If the old people have one additional income, this could be more beneficial than giving it to the youth. There is also a huge portion of people who always live day by day. They spend their salaries completely, and later they spend their pensions completely each month, without any savings for rainy days. No buffer for medical expenses or any other random trouble. It is highly irresponsible. Everybody should have a decent amount of saved money. So, bad health, no money, bad habits, and lack of independence. Yes, many of them are trying to latch into some young person in their family and stick to it like a tick. How many Bulgarians do you know who let their mothers or fathers live with them when they become old? Old people decide to delegate all their responsibilities to their children or a random neighbor who helped one day. Old people, please don't do this. Yes, we can help, but try to keep your independence as much as you can. Don't say, I can't hear. Try to hear or find a device that can help you hear better. Don't say, I can't see, if you can get better glasses and keep being independent. Don't ignore new technologies out of laziness. Yes, the internet might look hard to understand at first, but you can understand it and use it if you try. Find information on your own. Yes, young people can help you and teach you how to use gadgets, but pay attention. Don't just call the grandson when you want to turn the heater. Use your own system to learn. Paper notes, writing in your notebook, or whatever else you can use, but do it. Think for yourself and move for yourself. Yes, you might be more fragile, but you can still do many things. Your bones need some stress to keep fit. Try to move more and exercise the parts of your body that you use the most. Don't say, I can't. Change it to, I can't today, but I will be able in a week. Muscles can grow at any age, even if it's not at the same pace. Don't give up on your independence because it is closely related to the way people see you. If your family and friends see that you can't do anything anymore, what do you think they will think of you? Keep your image and try to be a good example of an old person who is aging with grace. I have a hypothesis that the extreme selfishness of the old generation is a survival mechanism that evolution has developed. Otherwise, I can't explain it. Have you seen how selfish old people are? In every election, they vote for the party promises the bigger pensions. No thought about the future generations, new investment in the country, or ecological problems. It is always the goddamn pensions that elect governments. Elders always think about their needs, medicine, a particular need, or service they want. You will rarely get the honest question, how are you? Yes, they will ask you, but they only expect you to say, I'm well. They are not willing to help you. They're just opening a conversation about their needs. It is all about them. Help, help, help. Be with them and make them company. Waste your precious life with somebody who can hardly think anymore. I guess I have had too much exposure to old people in the past. I used to see them differently, but all my recent experience have made me bitter. And I think all of the problems come from the next point, the lack of effort. Problems are many, but the main one is lack of effort. If they don't know something, most of the time there will be a family member or a friend who can show them and teach them, but they don't want to learn. They're perfectly fine to ask you 10 times the same favor and never try to pay attention to learn how to do it on their own. They don't want to be better. The same problem is related to health. Yes, for sure, most of the people can improve. I have seen disabled people who, based on the pure dedication, have found new ways to live and be regular members of society. But no, old people prefer to take dozens of pills and not to move a finger to improve. Eat healthy? Nah, better give me some pills. Walk 10,000 steps a day? Now, better buy me an electric wheelchair. The disturbing thing for me is that I can see this lack of effort even in not so old people. Not only 80 plus, But even some 50 years old plus people have the same attitude. Limiting your brain and the will to do things will damage you severely. If you have a hard period, you may experience the feeling of doing nothing, but don't make this your life. You need to do things, move, learn, be better. There is always a chance to improve, even if you don't see it. Push yourself to be better for you, for the people around you, for the whole society. Resist aging as much as you can through good habits and discipline. Be the first generation of old people who age with grace. If you agree with this video, like it, subscribe, and let's run together.
And how do you see yourself as an old person?
Me? Pff, I'm annoying even today, but at least I really respect people. I'll just go away somewhere far away not to bother anybody.
I got it on tape, huh?